Hi everybody, and welcome to my vlog. Tonight is going to be a little less angry, but it's still nonetheless. I had some weird stuff happen to me tonight, and I just dropped my glasses on the floor, so there's that. I'm going to try and keep the screen on me. I noticed like last night, the laptop kind of slid down my lap, and I was farther away and farther away, and then people were looking at the top of my head. Here's what's going on. Um, Let me see. Well, I spent most of the last night drinking, so listening to Creed for some reason. And I got up today and did a few things and didn't do too much, but I walked over to Central Ave just a little while ago. I usually walk over there around 9:45 or so because that's the time I usually go to work. So the cats, usually they expect me, so they're usually around the porch about that time. So anyway, I got out there on the roads and started walking down the sidewalks. The sidewalks looked a little wet, and I was kind of I wasn't really too worried about it. Wet sidewalks are better than snowy sidewalks, I figured. Well, that wasn't really the case because where the sidewalks looked wet, uh, it wasn't wet. It was ice, glare of it all over the sidewalks, all over the parking lots. The roads were just wet because they must use a lot of salt on the roads. So, so the roads were clear. Well, they weren't clear, but they were just wet. They have a lower freezing point, and since the temperature outside was right at the freezing point, everything was just freezing. So you'd have a few spots. You'd have a few spots that were wet, and then some spots were ice. And you couldn't tell which were which because they looked identical. When light reflects off from ice, it looks just like water. Because, well, that sounds stupid, doesn't it? Ice is water. So anyway, so I had to walk all the way over to Central Ave like a little Chinese woman. So I got halfway, well, most of the way across the Hollywood parking lot, and this truck, SUV, a dark colored SUV, pulls up behind me rather than going the way most of the cars go, because I walk through where the parking spaces are marked. This SUV comes up almost, it comes really close to my right hand side, pulls around in front of me like he didn't know which way he wanted to go, if he wanted to go out of the parking lot or park in the parking lot or whatever. And he was like there in front of me rolling along slowly, and then he went around my left side and back behind me again, which was very weird. And he went over and parked. And as I walked down past the corner where Mullins is, just outside of the parking lot, he pulled back out of the parking lot and drove by me. He drove down and, hit that little bit of Main Street and right down Central Ave. And then he parked on Central Ave. And I walked down through, across Main Street, got onto Central. He was parked about halfway down. And just sitting there with his lights on. So I got closer. I got about 10 car lengths away from the SUV. And he suddenly pulled out again and drove right up to where the light is and disappeared, which was very curious. I'm already paranoid about people in the government watching me. Partly because I'm crazy, partly because I'm colorful, and partly because I think that they are. Anyway, so nothing more happened. I went across Church Street and on down the part of Central where I used to live, and I got down to where the courthouse park is. And I take the second, there's two sidewalks that go into the park, and I take the second sidewalk because there's usually a little walkway there that goes back around to the driveway where I used to live. So I have to walk actually up to where the driveway is for the place and walk down it. I walk around the back of the house, go that way. So Anyway, I had just taken a right and started walking up the second sidewalk, and that very same SUV comes rolling right on down through, and then it parks like 3 houses down from the one where I was going to go in the back of. And it sits there with its lights on. So I stopped walking before, I was walking down the side of the building. If I walked too much farther, I wouldn't have been able to see them. So I stopped right there. There's a bush there, and I was looking through the bush at them, and they were just sitting there. Nobody got out. They didn't beat their horn. Nobody got in. Just sitting there. Just sitting there. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call his bluff. So I turned right around on the sidewalk, walked across the street, which is where the county office building is, and they have a bunch of benches there. So I went over there, brushed off the bench, and I sat down and stared at the vehicle for about 10 minutes. He sat right there. Sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there. And I sat right there and looked at him. Finally, they pulled away from the curb, did a 3-point turn, and went right back the other way. Me glaring at him the whole way. Went right back up Central, hung a right on Church Street, and I thought sure they were just waiting for me to do something and that they'd be right back around to try and watch me. But they didn't. I sat there for another 5 or 10 minutes and they never came back. But it was very, very, very creepy, and it was very, very obvious that somebody was watching me. And I don't know why. I don't think it was the weird thing is I don't think it was a government vehicle because the windows weren't tinted, I couldn't really see the person driving, but there was somebody driving. I could see their silhouette. I couldn't tell you if it was a boy or a girl or what, but I mean, it may have all just been coincidence, but if it was one hell of a coincidence. So, I'm a bit concerned about that. I proceeded, after that, I got up and went over to where Little Bum is, and she was there. None of the other cats were, just her. Black one, black kitten, and the gray one weren't there. She's very skittish of me now. Ever since I tried to get her in cat carrier, she's skittish. But she still wanted to eat, so I put down some wet food and some dry food, and she went right at that. So she's not that skittish, but she's still, doesn't trust me like she used to. So after that, I moseyed my little white ass on home. I grabbed some trash bags at the Daily Grind, and some pop. And came home, ordered some of that specialty chicken from Domino's and a pasta bowl. There were chicken carbonara pasta bowls are awesome. Anyway, that just came a short while ago, so I figured I better put up tonight's midnight vlog so that y'all can see what's going on with me. Like I said, it's nothing major, nothing depressing or anything. It's a little strange. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. I'm gonna enjoy my pasta bowl here and debate on whether or not I want to buy some games. Steam has some cheap games for like $1, $2, $3. Yeah, it'd be well worth it just to load them onto my machine, see what they're about. So, and I got like $40 left. So, anyway, I hope you're all fine. My cats are all fine. Have a good night, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.